Hello, everyone. It's Monday
Well,
night. Monday night, we're here. So we're here. We're going to chat a bit about season 4, which was like season 3, jam packed with these amazing storylines. Like a couple different storylines that they weaved little by little in each episode. And then, of course, every episode they had a storyline that finished, which was kind of like their style, and I really liked it. And then we'll do a little trivia. Now, Deb Johnson, I'm pretty sure you're the winner from last time. Um, when I do, just to clarify, when we do the little trivia, it's whoever answers them the most, and then like Deb, she had quite a few last week, and then if it's like only 5 people and they each have one, then it's just going to be one winner. I'll just roll it out and we'll choose one, and your prize is on the way. I do have your emails too. I did have yours. So anyway, just trying to clarify, teacher and me. How's everyone? Everyone having a good day so far? Let's see. What do we have out here before we get started? And we do have a guest next week, Miss Kathy, right?
we do.
We do. We'll tell you at the end who our guest next week is. This is just everyone saying hello. Martha's here and Brian and Christina. And it looks like I'm saying hello from Kathy. For whatever reason, I thought Kathy was like a co-host inside the stream. Whenever she tries to comment, she can't. So she told me to type in hello. I was her secretary. Yes. Brian says he enjoyed watching season 4 again this past weekend. Yes, a lot went on in season 4. You are right, Chris. Hey, everyone, watching season 4, episode 5. Elizabeth is about to lose her job. Yep, everyone's been doing their homework like good students. Yes, it was filled with a lot of drama, all kinds of drama. We need more drama. And the entrance of Carson, you are correct. And it has one of your favorite quotes of all times. Well, we're going to play a trivia game with some quotes in it. I don't know if it's the one that you love, Deb. Bad things happen. Not even talking about that. I can't. Someone said one of the quotes that I love. I cried like crazy at Doug's funeral because it reminded me of my father's funeral. Oh, sorry. I have a T-shirt and a poster with that on with that on them. Okay. Just everyone just saying hi to everyone. Hi. Hi, 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 hi. Okay. It says, I can't imagine the agony the writers and producers must have gone through scripting the departure of DL. Yeah, that didn't happen yet, though. Okay. It didn't happen. Love the episode when Lee gets laryngitis and Rosemary speaks for him. I
So
know.
funny.
I know. You know what? This season sparked the note cards. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about these note cards that Elliot shared with me. So, Elliot is in charge of Edify, and they're really Edify Films. And then his good friend Brian Bird made him in charge of anything that is trademarked with When Calls the Heart. The official stuff comes through them. So, these are actual photographs, and then they turn them into note cards, which I know many of you've seen. And it came from this season. And this is one of my ultimate favorites. I love that one. The one with them dancing at the Mountie Ball, which was really nice. Okay, so let's get started. What did I learn? Well, I'm going to start. Okay, you all know that I'm obsessed with Where Everybody Lives. I mean, I've done a couple videos on it last summer. And I mean, I know we've got the Bible that Allie has, and she puts all the pieces in of all the things in the past. And somehow there's been a hiccup about, the mayor's office and being able to live upstairs, which I thought, even though they didn't talk about it, that is where Bill lived now until last season when he wasn't feeling well, and he was offered a ride home by Lucas. And I was like, well, I thought he was upstairs. So anyway, I wanted to share something with you all. You can't hear anything? Christine, that would have to do with your device. Maybe your volume is all the way down, or you have to push a button on the computer part of it yourself. Yeah. Anyone else that can? Well, everyone should be able to hear us. Okay, so I'm going to share and add to the stream, not that slide. Let me go back. This. So every time they would talk about Henry, Abigail would be standing outside and they would, put the screen up to here. And you've heard me talk about this. I even talked about this in one of my videos from before. And during this season, she goes to see him upstairs. And I don't know if you can see that. Can they see that, or is the slide thing in the way?
I can see it clearly.
Oh, good. Okay. For me, it's in the way. All right. So right here, you could see her coming up the steps. She's coming up the steps. There's a little foyer here, and she walks in. When they pan the camera around, you'll see that he's sitting up there by the fireplace. So there is an upstairs. It's actually very elegant and very nice. So I'm like, they forgot about that. And I'm interested in wondering, I really don't think there's an upstairs to that building. I think the people who own the Jamestown movie set have talked about the different facades and the different things. So I think they made that somehow, but I don't know. There were a lot of extra buildings that I wondered what they turned into. Like when Ray was working on the railroad, he had a little railroad office. What did they turn that into? You know what I mean? That surprised me. And then in the Christmas episode, which in the very beginning of the season, they were redoing different like apartments and different things so that the families had a place to live that were washed out by the settlement. And there was this one place where they opened up the door and they all walked in, and I was like, did that eventually become the library? They just had a lot of different rooms that they could have done things with. And I'm thinking, if that's the case, they need to turn in one of those buildings for season 10 into a home for Lucas and Elizabeth, and let someone else live out in the row homes, like something a little more elegant or bigger for all of them. I don't know. These are just my opinions. What do you think of Miss Kathy?
I'm thinking I agree with you because I think they need a fresh place to live that isn't where Elizabeth and Jack lived. I think they just need their own home, and hopefully someplace where they can grow as a family someday.
The Hardy Observer, she says, oh my gosh, wow, I never saw that. Yes. And I have a video about all the different places, and I do show it, but I didn't show the steps because when I made the video, who knows, I was doing a lot of different things. But this time I was like, yes. And I went back and I snapped it right off of my TV. Yes, you're right, Kathy. They do need I'm excited to see where they live. They need to like spruce up some of the buildings. I know it takes funds, but hello, you're in your 100th episode and 10 seasons. You spend some dollars.
Well, they've got funds to open up all these new businesses we've seen little hints of. So
yes,
they can find funds for a cottage or, a house.
And Lee was supposed to build. Remember when they come back on their honeymoon in the Christmas episode, which by the way, I remember the episode, but watching it again, it really made me cry. It was amazing. And the actor who plays the peddler, I looked him up and he's been on all kinds of things, even currently. And I was like, a Christmas movie just this last year. I was like, I want to have him on. Well, there is no contact information and he isn't on any social media. I'm like, phew, phew, phew.
Neither is Santa. So
Oh,
I'm wondering, have we ever seen them in the same room? No.
Oh, there's more of a mystery. I have a connection with one of the directors, so we'll see. We'll see about that. All right. So now okay. This, like I said, I learned a lot. So I learned exactly that there was housing up there and it's rather lavish and nice, right? I learned that. Another thing that I really liked was how Jack was absolutely there for Elizabeth. And he would say, like, he had the opportunity early on to go and fight, help out where up in the Northwest Territories, where, at one point in the middle of the season, his superior says to him, it's like 2-to-1 ratio, two bad guys to the one good guy, and they really need help. And that's what kind of pushes him over the edge to say he's going to go. So the whole time he's no, 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 I chose you. And she would smile and he would hug her, and she would go, like, she walked in front of him to go inside to have dinner, and his face drops. And you see it constantly. And it's not that he was lying. He really did want to be there for her, but it was torturing him. And then this wonderful line comes at the end, towards the end, when he says to her, because she loses her job and has to get it back, right? So they're in the school, and he's telling her he's going to go, and she's mad and upset by it. And he says to her, the same God that called you to teach is the same God that called me to serve. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a great line.
Yeah.
What a great line is that, right? Oh my gosh. So there just was so much. And what about the character of Ray? Like, what's your impression of him, Kathy? What'd you think of Ray, R-E-Y, Wyatt?
I don't know. I thought conflicted. He's, tough and mean, but this is Hope Valley, so there's got to be a heart of gold in there somewhere.
I know. And then at the end, he gets arrested. I mean, he was going to shoot Henry right on the spot. Henry gets hurt. He hurts like the right in front of everybody. It's like a showdown, and he gets hurt on his arm. And when he falls down, then Abigail comes over, helps him up, and she goes, "Are you okay, Henry?" And he goes something about like redemption has a price. And I'm thinking, oh, we're on that journey. That begins the journey.
Great line. Yeah.
Yes, all the way back in season 4. So there are times when you think that Ray can be a nice guy, and then he turns out to be, especially towards the end, really rough around the edges. He bullies his brother. He tells his brother, get back to work, when his brother comes in. And that's why the one son, his one nephew, it acts like him. He's very much a bully. And Elizabeth stands up to them, and she's like, I don't like bullies, big or little, or that's not the exact quote, but she means his son. She wouldn't tolerate, the nephew. She won't tolerate the nephew being a bully and him being a bully, which I was like, oh, she got a little fire inside of her, Yeah.
Yeah, I think the dad was the one who had a little goodness in him, that, he let himself be bullied by his brother, but then he came through.
He did, and he came through for his kids. He was more like the younger boy, which I liked.
Yeah.
And even the older boy, you found that he was neglected, and father was overworked and whatnot. But in the end, there was a couple of things that were funny. They had to raise funds. They had a carnival, right? And Ray had his eye on Faith, and Faith used her feminine wiles, I guess is what you call them, to get him to agree to let the men have some time off, right? Because they like to extend when the contract was coming, so they could attend and relax, because they were getting hurt because they were working so much on the lumber mill, or the sawmill. And so they get time off to enjoy this carnival. And at first he was like, no, but then Faith was all like, oh, to him, and Elizabeth's watching it all transpire, and then he agrees. So he had a thing for her. And I'm like, what is it with Faith and men? Her fiance didn't support her, was a big old, J-E-R-K, jerk. Then there's this one, and she talks about it towards the end. But anyway, Ray goes to the carnival, and he gets in line, and it's the kissing booth, and he says he's going to pay for all of it. He wants to buy all the tickets. And then she goes, he's all excited, and he opens up the curtain, and there is Flo with a big giant red lips. So then the later time when you see him talking, he's over there wiping all the red off of his cheek. I love that.
That was hysterical.
So I love that they had, again, all that seriousness and then that fun stuff, weaved in too. Then at the end, he manhandles Faith, like he grabs her arm, and Carson stands over and says, oh no, I'm walking her home. And then she looks at him when Ray walks away, and he goes, oh, I'm sorry for intruding. And he goes, thank you. Because she didn't know what to say. And he went and sat down, which we didn't realize would be the beginning of a relationship for them. Faith had a okay, let's see what these people are saying before we move on. I love your input here. So the Hardy Observer, hello. Teresa, right? I think that's her first name. Faith had a lot of daddy issues, which can oftentimes lead to toxic relationships down the road.
Amen.
Oh, she's so correct because we find that out. We find that out more in the next season, even when she eventually goes back to help out her dad when he was sick. But we absolutely find that out. I love that. Brian's saying that Ryan, or Ray rather, was a ne'er do well. Yeah, he was something. He was a piece of work. They're talking to you, Kathy. Oh,
Oh, where is that streaming? Is that streaming somewhere?
she'll let us know.
Yeah.
Jan, could you let us know? Yeah. I know. Wait a minute. Sharon's loving the kissing booth like we did. Yep, came. Yes, he did. Carson came to Faith's rescue. He did. He didn't like seeing what was going down. He was very observant, Carson, and he came in with a little mystery. And a lot of the
He had a lot
characters,
of baggage.
yes, a
Remember
lot of
his baggage?
yes, and we find out as it goes on. Pastor Frank gets involved with that. There was this. Well, before I talk about the wonderful scene between Henry, Pastor Frank, and Abigail, don't let me forget. Henry met his match, and above, he knew he had to do something. Yes, with Ray, and in the end, he kind of does the right thing. Especially when AJ, they find AJ Foster. They thought it was a guy, and here that's the little love interest that Bill has. And she says, there's bribe money, the whole thing, and that's why he's getting carted off. Yep. Oh, Lillian's not mincing words.
Yes, and yes.
The minute Ray tried to force Faith to let him walk her home, I knew he was a total crumb. Yep. And he grabs her arm too when he does it. Ooh. See, and that's funny. Again, they still had grittier things back then than they do now. Like this, you know what I mean? Like now.
They also, I thought was interesting. I've commented before. They really create strong women characters, strong female characters. But I found it interesting that when Ray grabbed her, they didn't let her kind of stand up for herself and push off dude.
Yeah.
But they had a guy come and rescue her. I wasn't quite sure what kind of mixed message that was.
Well, she really did try to protect herself, but then again, I mean, he was very strong. Do you know what I'm trying to like
He was
grabbing
being
her?
physical, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what's Rona saying? Ray was even mean to his own brother. He was. He talked to him like he was jerk, like in front of Elizabeth. Go back to your work and all that. Well, everybody's like jerk, and I wanted to have him on. He would have been great. We'd have been calling him jerk. Like he was sitting here. He's probably like the nicest guy ever. Let's see. Yes, Lucas, Elizabeth need their own home to express their individual selves and free of the ghost of Jack. Annie, you are right. And I am truly thinking that we should be going in that direction. If anybody is here, hello. I'm just saying, if you didn't do it for season 10, you better do it for season 11. Right now, I can't give, and I'm not trying to say, like, oh, I got information and you don't. I just want to put this out there. So I've been conversing with some of the actors that are currently on When Calls the Heart, and they're working on 9 and 10, episode 9 and 10 right now. So they're starting to wind down. Just putting info out there. Just saying that's about where they are right now. I think almost 10 is almost done. And I am so curious as to why everybody has a fan, you know what I mean? And that whole aging app they put on, I'm just throwing that out there again. I know we digress, but we can't help it. We always sneak in season 10 stuff.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that.
Uh-huh.
Where was it? About Ghost of Jack.
Uh-huh.
I'm wherever they end up, I think Jack is going to be with them, because
Sure.
I think that both Lucas and Elizabeth are devoted to keeping his memory alive for little Jack.
Yeah.
And so I think wherever they end up, over the fireplace, the mantle, there's going to be that photo of Jack, and they're going to keep memorabilia and take little Jack to visit his resting place and all that kind of good stuff.
And I think that you are correct. And the thing of it is too is that Lucas is the type of man that isn't threatened and would want what was best. He's very selfless. That's exactly how
Absolutely.
Jack was. So Kathy and I were talking. Now I'm watching the relationship mature and grow between Jack and Elizabeth. And I'm like, wow, he's like such a renaissance guy. And I've said this before, just in real life, we're attracted to certain people because there's certain qualities that we like.
Yes.
Not that if we're out of one relationship, we go in another. We're not trying to replace somebody, but I'm attracted that you like this or you're this way or what way. And I feel like when people were surprised by, who her decision was, one of the reasons where I saw a lot of those similar qualities inside of Lucas. And don't forget, Jack, he was a painter. Oh God, he did such wonderful, beautiful things for her.
His illustrations and
Yes, yes, we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, again, we have to move on. This is interesting, Christine. I think Henry still lives upstairs in 9 after the blowing up of the coal mine and the 4 were talking. Everyone was leaving except Henry. Bill left with Lucas. Fiona left also, but Henry stayed. Okay. All right, Christine, I'll take that. So Henry's still living up there. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Yeah. All righty. I'm good. I feel good now about that. um, I wonder if that isn't the reason why we haven't gotten many behind the scenes. Or because of all the changes that they've made. I don't know. And you know what? Did they lock that down when all the people came to visit? I mean, you think you got your 200 people or however many were there for that hearty reunion? People were going to not have loose lips and say something? Like, I doubt that. So I don't know how much change, like many changes there were. Could be.
I like the lockdown on information, and I think it has something to do with the new showrunner. That maybe she said, "Okay, let's roll out some stuff for people that they don't really expect." So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Me too. I know this is hilarious. So, okay, let's go to the very beginning of the season. So, in the very beginning, it's that beautiful Christmas special, which I cannot tell you how many times I cried. And I was saying, my aunt's like, oh, this show is corny. She's not on tonight. She's in Disney. And she's like, this show is corny. But she watches it for me. And I'm thinking, I am sorry. There are parts of of that episode that was, it's not parts. A lot of it was really good writing. And I don't care that it was corny. It like touched your heart how those kids helped each other out. Like Cody gives up the ball so he could get that doll for the little girl. These are people that wanted to make like other people feel good because they lost everything. And it's not like any of them in Hope Valley have a whole lot of anything, like I'm like, wow, they were so excited to get one toy. And I'm thinking about my own family and the things that are under our tree. Like it was beautiful. And they made those dolls and I don't know, just the whole message was magical and I loved it. But one of the funniest things was that gross pin, that spider pin that poor Lee spent tons of money because he thought it was so special for his wife. And I love the relationship between Jack and Rosemary. They're still really close. Like she was trying to help him with a speech. And, now the two of them are talking. He says to her, you're going to open it and you're going to act surprised and you're going to be like, it's the best gift ever. Rewrap it, stick it back in that trunk. And she did. She did it. And she does. He goes, because, that came from his heart.
They absolutely ended up being really good buds.
Yes. 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 All right. And then the Mountie ball dress. Oh my gosh. Wait, now that was great. So Elizabeth needs a dress. This dress was gorgeous. And Rosemary has it and she tells Dottie that she's got to make alterations. And she's like, alterations? She goes, well, I got to let it out of the waist and take it in. And she goes, take it in where? Like she was so Oh, that dress was gorgeous. I love that dress. Here, what Rona's saying, that dress, that dress that Elizabeth wears to the Mountie Ball was beautiful and much more revealing than the one she wore to her date with Lucas. I know.
But Jack versus Lucas. So He wasn't going to win either way.
Martha says they had that on display. I took a picture of the dress, Lillian. I will post it as soon as I can. That's true, Martha. You were there. I forgot that you went. Not likely at Deb. Hardy. They're just talking amongst each other. I'm missing what they're saying though. Oh, Lucas is going to need a bigger place just to put all his clothes. We always say that.
Yeah.
All right. It made no sense for me for Pastor Frank to be so suspicious of Carson's past when his own past was shady. This is when I began to really dislike Frank. Sorry, Kathy. There's
Annie.
Go ahead. I'm looking at a question. Go ahead. What did you want to say to Annie?
I'm giving you the stink eye here, Annie. No, I'm kidding. I'm not giving you the stink eye.
Well, I have an idea about that. So Frank, before that even happened, he is so invested in Abigail. Like he really wants Abigail. And she's got lots of things all over the place. But he always comes back to wanting her, right? So Frank is sitting with Abigail in her office or the mayoral office, and in comes why did his name go out of my head? Henry. In comes Henry, and Henry wants to give her some advice. And those two go at it. They have like a verbal thrashing, but she's like sitting there like, whoa. And we know that Henry wanted her from back then. He says some stuff about it. So anyway, she's like, that's it, go. And I think Frank, you're correct. He has no right to judge Carson because of his own past, but it was more to protect him because Abigail let him in her house. Her house is attached to the cafe. He had access to her house, to working so closely with her. And I thought if Frank had to be jealous of anyone, it should be Bill, because Bill and Abigail have this fabulous at each other kind of like relationship,
I was
bickering.
kind of surprised when she just dropped that. I mean, he told the one lie and she was like, I'm done.
I know. And
she forgave Frank a lot more than
she
that.
did. She did. And I think that's a writer's thing. I think in real life, if it were real, it would be more realistic that she would still, like, they had it good chemistry, like the back and forth all season.
Her chemistry with Frank was fabulous too.
It was. So, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, whatever.
And I think with Carson, he was being protective. It wasn't so much, what are you up to, buddy? And I'm going to get you. It wasn't the same way, for example, that Bill was suspicious of Lucas. I think Frank was just being really protective of Abigail because he loved her to death.
Yeah. So I wanted to, there's some questions. What is it? Oh no. Party Observer. I thought I started. She wanted to know, what do I think the fans are for? I honestly, okay, there it is. What the fans, those fans, everybody had those fans. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pretty lacy they look plastic though. Fans, I have no idea what they're for. I have none. The fact that Molly and Faith both have gone on a date with the same man makes me laugh. Who'd they both go on the date with? Molly and Faith. Who
Carson, did she?
She did?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, I don't remember her going on the date with him. Maybe I missed that. I'm not sure. All right.
Unless Molly didn't go out with Ray either.
No, actually, we don't see a lot of Molly in season 4.
Well, they're saying Carson.
Oh, they did in the very beginning. I'm only pausing just because I'm reading what everybody says. You're right, Avis. I do like the lockdown. Last season we saw previews so much that it took away from the episodes. Well, that was the previews. We saw, even before the previews, I thought the previews gave away way too much. But even before the previews, we saw a lot of different things. I think what really made them have a lockdown is poor Jack Wagner. Every time he would post something, he'd be posting of himself or something else, and we'd see off to the side other things. Like we knew there was going to be the ice cream shop. When they tried to unveil it for the town, we should have been having it unveiled to us, but that was an accident, you know. I mean, at that point, I already put stuff. I made a recipe that went along with. I did all kinds of stuff. Like that cat was out of the bag. So I think they were like, we're on lockdown. We got too much
They
stuff.
took away Jack's panorama view.
I know. Someone on Twitter speculated that the new showrunner vetoed the wedding. Oh, listen, no. People say dumb stuff. No. Let's see. That is the spirit of Christmas after all. Oh, what we were talking about. Okay. Let's see. All the way down here. Because he thinks okay. He thinks he and Carson have similar backgrounds. Maybe. I think it was like definitely about
He was definitely hiding something, Carson.
Martha says the saloon is one we only not to take pictures. Okay, yeah, they weren't allowed to take pictures of the saloon. You know, I think I may have shared this already, but an interesting little tidbit is there is a series on Lifetime called Big Sky. It's a mystery series. It's already in its third season, I believe. And there's a new judge in town, and this is Reba McEntire, and she comes to town. She's in the series, and the setting is the saloon. The saloon that they use for When Calls the Heart is in that series. That's where she hosts. That's where she holds court and stuff inside the saloon.
I wonder if it was dressed for that day or something.
I don't. Oh no, that already happened. That's already aired. They filmed that
a
while ago. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, they have a meatloaf dinner together. Yes. In the beginning, yes, I forgot about that. How did I forget about it? I just was watching it.
And then she ended up working for him.
Yeah, later. Yes.
That's interesting.
They had dinner with the commissary when the commissary was open. Yes, you are right. Yes, and they were trying to undercut everybody, and hardly anybody was eating there, and they were all going to the commissary. And when poor Lee had no voice, Rosemary talks for him and says, "We're going to have tea. We're going to hold tea for the 87 men or however many there were." There were so many behind the scene pics that there were so many speculations. You are correct. Here's Martha saying the showrunner is very sweet. She talked and was very interesting. All right. I think that Lucas's office is the same office that was used in Finding Father Christmas. Well, I don't know. They built Lucas's office, Deb. When they built that, the set director, I talked to her, and she set it all up and put all those little pieces in there. And they first they used a part of the saloon. And then Peter said they needed that space. So then they went and they took this little room that was off the cafe or something and turn that into the office. So they had to build the office twice and take everything over for the next season, I think. Yeah. A lot of stuff got revealed last year. You are correct. Okay, so some of the things before we do like a little quotes and whatnot. So I learned about the upstairs for a fact that was there. I talked about my fun relation. I thought they had a fun relationship. I'm going to show you my very, very detailed, just professional notes. Okay. So I was trying to run around cleaning my house. And when I was thinking of things, I'd write stuff down and didn't have paper. It's my paper towel. And it's
very professional.
So I had to be very careful. So I've been dragging this around with me for a while. One of the things, what was it? The storyline with Shane and his son and that mean man, Mr. Stoneman, that takes over, and he keeps snapping those pencils when he doesn't think that Emily's holding them right, and she cries. That little girl was acting her behind off in that episode. And that's when Cody stands up and says this quote, and out the door all the children go and they gather around Elizabeth. And then he was mean. I mean, for goodness sakes, if I behaved the way he did, I would be fired.
Yeah.
But why would you want to be? Then he told the father that his little boy was unteachable. He was slow, and he should learn a trade instead. I was like, what the heck? Baseball game. Cyrus, the little boy with the knee brace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rivera, I think his last name was, and the dad worked for the railroad. He was, I mean, that was a gorgeous story. And that little character was there. And the classroom was jam packed with kids. COVID, I know we have COVID restrictions, but we need more than 5 kids sitting in that classroom. Okay, let's see. Yes, Deb, it was horrible, wasn't it?
It's interesting that every time they have a new teacher or substitute teacher, they're always horrible, at least initially. They're usually very, remember the this last guy, I can't think of his name. We had him on. I can't think of his character name.
Um, I forgot it, but yes.
But he was the one who
Landis,
found
Mr.
his,
Landis.
yeah, found his passion for music again and went off. Yeah, yeah, but why do they all the substitute teachers all have to be so horrid?
And he was a little bit more than substitute teacher too. I think he was Mr.
He
Landis.
was
Yes,
district superintendent.
yeah. I think, he. You're right. Yes, yes. I miss the classroom filled with children. So do I. All right. They're just saying that. Oh, she uses. Yes, it is Bounty, and you use napkins. I get you. The life of the teacher. Love when Rosemary took Lee's brand new car for a joyride and crashed into the Mercantile. Arlene, this is why she goes and has to stay with Elizabeth. And then Elizabeth gives her a what for and says that he's a fantastic husband and man. And she says, well, you must really care about me if you have to be so honest. And she goes, I do. We are very good friends. So then she goes back to her husband. What about Honey Bunny and Squidget?
Oh my
Remember that?
gosh.
Oh
Yes.
my God. Oh my God. I think I touched on a lot. There was just so many things that went on, but I think I'm ready to go and do the little bit of trivia that I have here. Okay.
Do we have any insight? I'm sorry, real quick question. Do we have any insight on whether or not Gustav is, or the actor is filming for season 10?
I think he's there.
Oh, good.
I forget why I think he's there. I forget what we saw. Yeah, I forget what it was. Yes, Lucas was a great substitute. I'm just the scene. Let's see the scene where Jack left for yes, it was absolutely iconic. I know. I mean, we do have to talk about those things. So, how about when she sings Danny Boy? When she and she's playing and I have a fun fact. Little Timmy is going to play the piano with her and he says he can't do it, he gets scared. So she promises she'll be there. And this is when she has to say goodbye to Jack. And then she comes in and sings Danny Boy. And Timmy plays the piano. The actor who plays Timmy, Christian, I had him on and we were chatting. I had him on a couple times, I think. And he and I were talking, and he had to learn how to play the piano for those scenes because he never really played the piano before, which is cute. Yeah. Yes, makes me cry every time I watch it. It was beautiful. Me too. I cried. He has ZZ Top beard this year, apparently. Who does? Oh, yes, he does. He does have a beard. Gustav. Yeah.
Cover it up before you cook the food. You know, only those of you who are of an age will know what this means. But when Elizabeth sang Danny Boy, it reminded me of Maeve Ryan singing Danny Boy, and it brought down the same tears.
I know. Wow, cried when she sang Danny Boy. Yeah, they're all saying that even whenever I hear that song, it was she, and that's her real voice. She is gorgeous. She's supposed to have perfect pitch. She has a beautiful voice. And then we never heard her sing again until she sang a lullaby to her son, like in season 8, I think it was, right? Yes, yep. I know. We can't forget all of the 3 of them riding out. There's there's so much going on that I keep forgetting. We see Pastor Frank, be a gunslinger along with, the I know, along with the Mountie and the sheriff or the forensic guy, which is Bill. And then he goes, I'll ride out with you. And there's that sharpshooter because he tells when he was going to be in jail, and the sharpshooter's up on the hill and he takes care of that, and they're going to steal them. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
That is inside of one episode. I feel like they were longer. Don't you feel like they were maybe longer than what they are now? Right?
Yeah, I think when they cut back, for pandemic, they maybe just kept some of those cuts where they,
Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
All right, so we're gonna play the little game here. If we forgot anything and you want to discuss anything, put it up there and we will. Oh, oh, for goodness sakes,
Oh
that's
my gosh, yes.
so you are correct. He gets sick, and one of the questions, I'm not going to say it yet, and don't put it out there, anybody, is about Carson's background. So that's probably why I forgot and held off on it. But yes, he does. He saves him, and that's towards the end. Yep, yep, yep. She did sing in Hope Valley Days when they were near the tree. You and I both had the same look on our face. We're both like trying to take that in. Martha, we're not saying you're wrong, but we're like, what? What do you mean? I noticed in the earlier season there's more drama, more emotional scenes too. Yeah. And Cody almost died. This is true. By guess what? Cody Ryan, what is it? I always want to get it right because there's a Carter Ryan and a Ryan Carter, but we're talking about Cody and it's Carter Ryan, correct? He is coming on next week. He is our guest. He's very excited about being on, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And Elizabeth going to Hamilton to find a friend to help her out. Yes, there was all of that drama. That's how she gets her job back. And Henry kind of initiated that, but then Henry winds up giving her job back again, right? Yeah. Okay. She needs to sing to Lucas. Okay. All right, Avis. Let's see. Arlene, showrunner, executive producer for season 2, 3, 4 was Robin Bernhemberger. She really kept the focus on the kids. Yes, 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 and yes. Henry was evil. Well, not really, but he did things for money, and he even at one point says to Ray, money's one thing, but when he was, he goes, I understand greed and the money, but when he saw the evil stuff Ray was doing, he's like, that's it, and he kind of turned on him. He said, I'll turn state's evidence, and that's when he almost got shut up. Lillian said she did Bill's April Fool's joke when he put up the Christmas tree. Oh, she did, but she wasn't alone singing. They were all singing together, right? Okay, all right. So when we play the game, it's again, I may have said this before, but some of you may have popped in. First, let me remind you of a few things. So everybody's Wi-Fi has like a delay in it, unless you are, have some super speed going on. So it might look to you like you got in or answered before other people, but ours is time stamped and we're going by what we have here. So you even hear us at different times. So we can't control that. So best way for me is to use the timestamp that's here as to who gets in first when they answer. Looking for people who have like someone who has more than one answer correct. And if there's like 5 or 6 of you that all have one answer, then I'll just roll it out and choose someone. Okay. And I usually send it to you through Amazon. That's my little MO. Miss Kathy, do you want to say anything before I start?
Take it away.
Okay. All right. So I have a quote. And I want to know which character from season 4 said this in the very beginning. I'm here to bring the future to Hope Valley. Who was it that said that? I'm here to bring the future to Hope Valley. And while we're waiting for answers, I'm just marking some of the cool things that you're saying so we can address it. Well, there we go. Deb Johnson, 8:45. Deb is on a roll. Yep. And right underneath that is right. Okay. Yes, it is Ray. And by the way, he spelled it R-E-Y. R-E-Y is how he spelled it. I don't know why he just did. The train guy. It was Ray. All right. Next is okay. Hold on. I have to read my notes on this stupid paper towel. Oh goodness. Okay, so Lee and Rosemary had, well, Rosemary had a nickname for Lee. Lee had a nickname for Rosemary, but it wasn't what she wanted. She wanted something different. So we called her that. What was it? Squig, what was it? Squidget? And she got mad about it. So they had this whole big discussion and they decided that they would call each other sweetheart. And then there was this most amazing scene in the beginning where Rosemary, and I'm going to share something with you. Rosemary felt very neglected because Lee was working overtime trying to, meet the demands for the lumber that was needed for the railroad. And she comes home and there he is, and he does date night. I didn't get to the question yet. Sorry. They have he has the whole backyard, like he continues to do through each season, especially they kind of had this issue in last season. Do you remember that, Kathy?
Mhm.
When they didn't have time for each other. And she goes and he made those chairs for them and they sit
And then
outside.
she went back and they repurposed that yard for each other depending on what
Yeah.
mood they're in or what's needed. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cute.
Which I love. And there is right here the Victrola, or is that what it's called? A Victrola, right?
Mhm.
There's their special song on there, and they play it for them all the time. What is their special song? It has to do with their nicknames for each other. Let's see who gets it. No one. I'm going to take this away. All right. Just us. Are y'all there? No one's saying anything. Did it freeze? Oh, okay. Woo, it blew up. All
Well,
right.
looks like
And who was at the top of that line?
Deb.
Deb Johnson. Okay, let me call you sweetheart. Well, you know what?
Technically,
Technically, it's not Deb because she did call me sweetheart. It's the Hardy Observer who says, let me call you sweetheart. So we're going to go with you. Yes. Very nice. Okay. All right. So my next quote is, it becomes a quote from Jack to Elizabeth. It's said more than one time, in more than one season, even after he passes. She gets it in this season on an invitation that leads to him proposing to her. What is that saying or that quote? I actually have it on the little placard, and I never showed this to anybody, but I have a one calls the heart tiered tray with all kinds of things. Take a walk with me. You got it, Hardy. Observer, take a walk with me. Yes, yes. It comes up other times, but one of the best times is when it's their Christmas special and she's pregnant and she goes to the other town and she's kind of feeling a little sad. She takes a ride in to get, I don't know if it's the buggy for the baby or whatever, and she's sitting there outside waiting, and there's a father and a child. I don't know if it's a little girl or not, and he says to her, "Take a walk with me," and she looks over, and yeah, I know, love that quote. So do I. So beautiful. Yes. Okay. And just a little fun fact before I continue with our questions. It's a little risque. I can do it, right? I can do it. Elizabeth kisses Jack. She in this scene, of course, because she's so excited. And the kiss, I want you all to go back. I want you to zero in on the kiss, and I want you to see how intimate that kiss was. It was kind of, I think it was a mistake, and they just left it in. It was kind of a juicy kiss. Kathy?
yeah, it was. I mean, it was right up there with the kiss on the bridge.
Mm.
I don't know why people were complaining about that one. This one was pretty risque, like you
A
said.
lot of their kisses were risque. Okay. So when Roxanne, your video keeps cutting off and on. No, Lillian, you know what that is? That it's not on ours. I think Lillian, that is your it on your end, it's your Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay, so um the next one that I know that you're talking about, Jack and Lucas are both great kissers. Yes, Jan. I
And
think
Dr. Frank.
Aaron's the good kisser, I think, too. Yeah. All right, so back to my questions. Timmy has a sister. Somehow we lost the sister. We've lost moms and dads, and that's okay. But Timmy has a sister. Who remembers the sister's name? uh, Deb wants to know what kiss.
Rona said Maggie.
No, it's not Maggie, which was my mom's name, by the way. Um, People start answering, or this folks start adding their answers before you even ask the question, and everyone is right. Uh, It doesn't like they can't add their answer. They don't even know what the question is yet. And then whoever types the fastest wins. That's how it comes in. Yeah.
A lot of folks were saying Maggie.
Yeah, it's not. It's not Opal. Opal, the actress who plays Opal in real life is his sister, but not on the show. No, her name is Ruby. Ruby. Yeah, no, Ava is his sister's real name in real life. No, it was Ruby. No one got that. That's okay. It's all right. Not a biggie. All righty. That was it. That's my trivia for the night. Becky.
So Opal is his real sister in real life?
Ava and Christian are brother and sister. They don't play on brother and sister on the show. As a matter of fact, Ava's character is there as Opal before Timmy is. Christian's character, Timmy, comes when we meet him out. His parents are part of the settlement, and he has a sister, Ruby.
I just thought it was interesting that they both are named after jewels.
Oh, his real sister and no
The characters.
So Opal and Ruby. Yes. All right. So next week we have Cody coming on. How about that? Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about season 5. Season 5. Avis, you are seeing the answers before you hear the question because your Wi-Fi has a delay in it. That's what I was trying to tell everyone before. You're going to see the answers because everybody has a delay. Some people's Wi-Fi is more powerful than others. That's what I tried to explain in the beginning. Yeah. What's it say? Kathy, Roxanne had both young actors on for the same interview. I had them on more than one time. Yeah. Season 5.
Yeah.
I know.
It is a doozy.
I know. Opal's first scene was the overnight trip to the woods. I know. No, I know that she had a big scene. Yeah. Opal is his real sister. You are correct. So the winner for tonight is the Hardy Observer. We're going to be sending her a prize. Congratulations. Okay. Who has things they want to add? Season 5 is a roller coaster of emotions. It is. It so is. It is. I'm just making sure we didn't miss anything that was like important that anybody wanted to add. No. Okay. All right. Opal with Elizabeth while her parents go to her grandmother's. So cute, jelly over her face at Abigail's. Too cute. It was when they had their own little tea party and everything. It was. I liked that scene too, Arlene. Good job, Teresa. Or is it Teresa? He's asking Brian. Get a box of tissues. Where's my prize? Martha, I don't know where your prize is. I think you answered one of the questions correct last week. But again, as I was saying earlier, we're going by whoever answers them the most. And then if everybody all had the same number, like 1, then I would draw and pull it out of the hat.
You mean random selection?
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I hated about season 5 was Erin's wig. Yeah, they made her hair black, and that crazy black wig. Remember that?
I wish they would, since they're getting so progressive in so many other areas, that let her go to the stylist Fiona, and Fiona give her the latest style, which is the bob or whatever, so that she has a chance to wear her own hair. I would love to see that.
Oh, Martha says that she's only joking.
Oh, hey, did you have a question from Arlene highlighted? She was making an observation about Henry.
Okay, yeah, let's go back. I did. I may have. What's it say? Tell me.
Now I have to scroll back up.
Are you able to share? Oh, here it
I
is.
can't share. Mm-mm.
Arlene was saying Henry said he grew up dirt poor. That's why he embezzled. He said if you didn't take what you wanted, you wouldn't get anything. Yes, yes. And then you know what else? We started to talk about, and then we did in that wonderful quote about good people have to speak up. Like I forget now, it's right out of my head about when bad things happen, good people have to stand up and do something. So she says, Elizabeth says this, and then Cody says it again when he's in the classroom and he helps out Emily and they march out. And then it's said again when that conversation happens between bad things happen when good people do nothing. Thank you, Deb. Is that your favorite quote, by the way, Deb? I wasn't sure if it was that or take a walk with me. And then he brings that up when he has the conversation with Elizabeth. So it's weaved in through the season. I really love the Alfonso years of 5 through 7. Bad things happen when definitely. Okay, me too, Brian. I actually like them all. I there's something wonderful about all of them, but the show truly has a shift in things, and it's funny because like what is acceptable then was it, and then suddenly wasn't acceptable later. And I find it funny because the true showrunners have always been the same people, and that would be Brian Bird and Michael Landon Jr. So, and the person coming to help her use that quote too on the back of the picture. Yes, you are right. Yes, when she comes in and says, I'm going to help you out to get her job back, because
Mm-hmm.
that and that was a nod to the movie. Do you remember in the movie where the I guess he was like the superintendent, like he wanted favors, and he sent people to the wrong place, like bad places, or
If
denied
he
the
didn't
job.
get what he, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Yep, that's what she's saying. She loved the nod to the pilot movie. Yes. I think I think, Teresa, I do have your email. That way, I can email you, or you can email me if you don't mind your address, and then I will send you your prize. Coming to help her use the quote. Yes. Okay. All right. So again, next week. Oh, somebody wanted to know about the young man. I have no idea who the young man is that is going to be on the show. He could just, I was thinking he reminded me of, I know that there's the people that are living up in the mountains that come into town that ask for supplies, and Elizabeth helps them. That's why Lucas goes in and substitutes in season 9. So he could be one of those kids from there. I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I have 1,001 ideas, but I won't speculate unless I had more proof to back it up, and I don't really have any. Yeah. Miss Kathy, you want to say anything?
Nope, I'm just chomping at the bit um, to start season 10. I mean, there's just so many question marks. I just want to get into it.
It'll be a while. Jan saying, as Lucas and Nathan appear starting in season 6, I thought that I really preferred those over the earlier seasons, but as I rewatched the earlier seasons, I love them all. All great writing. Yeah, yeah. They need some younger kids now. They do. And I can't wait for season 10. You and
With
all,
you.
we all can't wait. I do know that, as I can say this, let me say this. as the season unfolds, even though the 100th episode is up front, as the season unfolds, it is definitely action packed. And we're coming to the end of the season, and there's some surprises and huge impacts on everyone. So, and I know this for a fact. So, and I don't know all the details of it. This is just some of what I know. And it's going to be like amazing. I just know it's going to be amazing. Get another roll of bounty for next week, but be careful or you Tia, you're here. Oh, I hope you're doing well. I miss you. I'm so happy that you're here. Oh, interesting. I know. I know. And I do know this, and I've said this before. I think I've done one prediction video, and that was kind of like it. I do know that Kayla gets her character, Fiona gets a big storyline this year. So I'm excited. I because there's still some mystery behind that character, you know? I mean, I really want to see some more of that. And I can't say this enough, but Rosemary, where's her family? Okay, somebody has to show up for her. And if it's no one else other than her pseudo mom, her second mom, Mrs. Thornton.
Charlotte
Needs to ride in on her horse and play some poker with the boys, and like she did. Yeah. Seeing the end of Chesapeake Shores is making me hating the end of When Calls the Heart. It's not going to end for a while. Listen, a fun thing about Chesapeake Shores, I love Wesley Salter, who plays Mandrake, and he plays a great part. And he was on live with Barbara the other night before the show comes on. And he was one of the guests, and he was talking about his character, and his character wound up supposed to be on maybe for just like one episode. And he was such a fan favorite, and they kept creating more about it. I really think if you're a Chessie, then you will definitely, I really think you're going to get like a movie, like a holiday movie, not this year because it's just ending, but I think they're going to do a holiday movie. And something else that I found interesting about Chesapeake Shores, they have one of the characters pregnant on the show. Two of them are pregnant in real life. They're hiding that. So I think that's funny. There's something in that Chesapeake Shores.
in that water.
Yeah. All right, what's this saying? That's so encouraging, and I love Mandrake. The ratings for When Calls a Heart are way better than they are for Chesapeake Shore, so I don't think that it's going anywhere. Oh no, I totally agree with you, Teresa. Just hoping we get a Lucas and Elizabeth wedding this year, and we will. Yeah, that would be great. Can't put off till it doesn't get put off till season 11. I doubt it. I mean, and if it does, then it does, but I doubt it.
I can guarantee they're going to get good storyline in season 10. I know nothing, but I mean, common sense tells me there's going to be a lot of focus on how their relationship evolves and grows now that they're engaged.
Yeah, and the baby, like
fun, yeah.
I'm so interested in Lucas's family. And the reason why I'm interested in Lucas's family is because I hope Nathan finally finds love this year. Let's hold that. I have an idea about that. I'm so excited about Lucas's figuring out what they're going to do about, not excited, curious Lucas's family, because his mother, the actress who played his mother, was very much filming. And she was literally on the set filming because she would do lives when they were filming. They were filming at the same time. It's funny because one of the directors that films most of the show, what was it called, Virgin River, is also does a few of them for When Calls the Heart. And I don't know if she did this year or not. But anyway, Siobhan, her name is. She was filming, and I'm thinking, well, wouldn't they be filming the wedding around this time? Where are you? You're still there. And Elizabeth, the actress who plays Elizabeth's mother, she's in a whole other series that just finished filming, I think, recently. So I don't know how they're doing that, if they're even going to be on there, and how they're even, I don't know. Did you see Lucas's car parked behind Elizabeth's house after dark? Yes, we did. We did. Rosemary and Lee are going to have a baby. I wouldn't be surprised if there is such an uprising about the cancellation of Chesapeake Shores that it will come back. Could be, because there is a big deal about it. How can they get rid of a top-rated show? It would do damage to Hallmark itself. Well, no one says they're getting rid of anything. Let's all just relax. Relax.
Relax and release.
Yes, yes. All right, friends. Thank you for joining. And definitely, Hearty Observer, make sure you, Teresa, send me your address and I will send it to you. They could do both. Andrea did with Supergirl and When Calls. It's true. They could do anything. What episode will the baby be born in?
No clue.
I honestly don't know. I don't. And if I did, I'd say I know, but I can't tell you. Like I just told you some information, but that's all that I can tell. And that's all that I know. Yes. All I can say, though, is be on the lookout for some of my guests that I have coming up. Besides When Calls the Heart and us doing this, there's, Christmas in the countdown to Christmas is coming. And I have some guests coming my way that also happen to be When Calls the Heart peeps. So, but we're not going to ask them any questions. We're not going to bully them. We're not going to be Ray. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all. See you next week.
See you next week.